Hello, everybody, and welcome to Meet a CC. As you can tell, we are with the wonderful Mr. Business6, aka the Silver Tongue Devil, as we've named him now. Mr.
Is
Business,
that
welcome.
what it is?
That's what it is, man.
I
That's
didn't know
what it
that.
is.
Oh god.
So, welcome, sir. Thank you for taking some time out to do this with us.
Oh, appreciate you having me.
Happy to, man. Happy to. So, as we said, your in-game name is Business6. Where does it come from? How long have you had this name?
Uh, Almost 20 years. Funny enough. So
Wow.
yeah. Before that, it was something else entirely. But basically had a back in Counter Strike days, like the old Counter Strike days. Had a group of friends that we were just messing around, and we're like, "Hey, why don't we start a clan?" Next thing we know, we're trying to figure out like what type of clan name we would use and the whole theme.
Yep.
So yeah, ended up with Card as our name because we already had a guy named Ace of Spades. So he was like, "Why don't we do that?" And so we had Yellow Card, which was a band. I think he was actually he also had like a card theme name too to
Yep.
begin with, and then we had Green Card. Somebody changed his name to Green Card, Visa Card, and then I went with Business Card. So and the rest is history. But no,
Yep.
the number at the end is simply because most of the time there's some sort of spam or anti-bot feature for forums or games that don't allow the
Yes.
name, the straight name business to be used. Which
Yep.
I've had trouble on like various forums
Yep.
to use my name without the six. So I just throw the six in there to make it work.
That's awesome. That it seems every so far the CCs I've spoken to, everyone's had the name for like for ages, and it's like just wow. Yeah, so
Yeah,
much time.
it's funny whenever you get into the origins of a name for somebody.
Yeah.
They keep it really close to their chest for a long time. Like as far as it means something to them.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. It's like it's literally like asking them what's your name, and it's like do you hear how long it is? It's like wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've had this username for about half my life, which is crazy.
Damn, that's bonkers. So, how long have you been playing World of Warships for then?
Since the first day of closed beta, so back
Wow.
in March of closed, or I'm sorry, March of closed beta, yeah, no, March of 2015, and I was actually somebody was like talking about these old videos and stuff, and it's crazy going back to the first videos and stuff, and like listen, just the sound effects alone are so
Yeah.
nostalgic. Playing like the old stuff, it's so funny. It's almost like a carnival or like circus sounds almost. I don't know how to describe it, but it's much
Yeah.
more uh almost slot machine like, I guess.
Yeah. Uh, I've yet to interview anyone who's been in closed alpha like myself, which is a bit weird. So the fact that there's so many in closed beta and open beta and everything like that is like just wow. So, but that's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I can only imagine how different the game must be for you coming from closed alpha then to closed beta when it changed the style entirely and to what it is now. That's crazy.
yeah, I mean, definitely. It's I've got to say it. The game has developed so much. I mean, I know we don't always agree with the dev team and the production team and stuff. You know, the route they take in, the direction the game goes, and things like that. But the difference from the early days to now, absolutely insane. It's been so much growth. It's been phenomenal. So outside of World of Warships, what other games can we find you on? What other games float businesses bought?
I am pretty well varied. I've streamed everything from Apex Legends to Total Annihilation. We got Borderlands in there. Like I've got roots
Yeah,
in first person shooters, but playing multiplayer shooters nowadays is really hard. It's not the same as when I was in my late
yeah,
teens and early mid 20s when I could do it competitively, but still get those
Nice.
crazy moments and stuff. But like I'll play everything from World of Tanks to Mech Warrior 5, and
Wow.
a lot of the Division 1 and 2, um, things like that. I don't really have any confines to what I play.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I mean, obviously, I've joined Messrs Stats and Flambas for some of the GTFO and stuff like that, and
Mm.
yeah, me and Stats quite happily will sit at the back because we just don't have the reaction time for those guys.
Yeah,
It's yeah,
so hard
it's
nowadays, man.
I
Like
know.
these, I don't know what these kids are drinking, but
Yeah,
geez, they
oh,
I just like I have my moments still, but I can't keep it going throughout a whole damn match. It's just
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's like no way. No,
Yeah, no, I've been
just
very impressed with like people's ability, like
mm,
especially in Apex, because that's such you know a highly competitive environment, and it's
yes.
meant to be that way.
Mm,
I can't match what these people do, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how to dial in my mouse the way that you've got it, because my aim is just jumping all over the place. But
mm,
yeah, I mean, that's how I used to be at some
yeah.
point. I think maybe I don't know.
Mm. It's
It's
it
hard to say.
yeah. It's really bonkers as well because I mean one of the things that I'm getting into away from streaming, away from warships that I'm getting back into is Forza Horizon 4. I used to be really into Gran Turismo 5 and stuff like that, and or Gran Turismo the entire series. I was like, I love my god, and I'm finding that I remember all the hand. I've got my new control and everything like that, and I'm going into it, it's like I used to be able to drift for ages, and the point score would just end up across the screen. Now I'm
Yeah.
struggling to get 20 or 30k points, and it's like how it's only 15, 20 years ago as well for me, and it's like I used to be so good. Why? It's like come back
Yeah,
to warships and it's slow down, and yes, I can cope with this.
for sure. And no, I've got Forza Horizon 4 as well, and like I love that particular series.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. I've got a lot of racing games in my background as well that I adore. But yeah, I gotta get that game up and running again. I've disabled a couple things, and I can't remember which ones that now prevent me from launching it. So, but I'm really looking forward to getting back into it eventually.
Nice. So, how would you describe your content? So, how do you describe the stuff that the content you produce, your Twitch, etc.?
So, the funny part is there's a bit of a difference between the YouTube side of things and Twitch side of things.
Hmm.
The hard part is the difference between live gameplay and recorded gameplay is that you're in a different headspace entirely
Yes.
when you're doing one or the other. And you don't have hundreds of people watching you, or whatever the case is, however many people, 5 people, doesn't matter, people are watching you live. And
Yep.
so there's always that pressure there, and honestly, it makes playing the game rather difficult, because it's just a different type of thing when you're playing offline versus when you're on the stream. And so like people are like, "Oh man, you're so much more relaxed when you're doing the videos on YouTube." Well, of course I am, because I'm not, playing the actual game right now and providing commentary. So
Yep.
when the main thing I try to focus on when I'm doing, live gameplay is trying to explain and predict, and why I'm doing this in a general sense, and why reading the mini map is leading me to come to that conclusion or to that position on the map, to try to prepare myself for some crazy situation,
Yep.
because I'm all about brawling, and the best
Yes.
way to do that is to ambush people and try to um, manipulate the positions of the enemy team and yourself, and like read the mini map and all that. But I try to be constructive with the Twitch side of things, but there's plenty of other factors involved, and I'm competitive. I get salty. That's just
Yep.
how it is. So, and then on the YouTube side of things, it's more uh, I, I guess more of a debate. I like to pose questions, ideas. I don't want
Yeah.
to say philosophies or anything like that, because that's not what,
Mm-hmm.
that's way too heady for this game and things like that. But I'm a big fan of the gaming industry and understanding how it functions and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I've grown up with it, and I've seen a lot of certain things, and you can apply a lot of that type of stuff to how this game has been developed. Some of the tendencies that wargaming has towards this and that, and how it impacts good players, bad players, everybody in between,
Yes.
and the future of the game, and what we think, or where we think the game will be going. And so there's it's just kind of different things depending on the
Where he
medium
is.
that it's being presented.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. Because obviously, like yourself, when you're streaming to Twitch, it's very much trying to explain to the audience, what's in your head, what's going on, and how you're reading the situation, to give them the insight into. Because obviously, a lot of times people will they'll go to Twitch and YouTube for different things. They'll come to Twitch to ask questions and try and get understanding and information about what you're doing, why you're doing that, how did you come to this conclusion, and they'll go to YouTube to try to watch and see how you implement those actual thoughts, and get that slower paced, methodical thought, almost like you said, literally of
Sure.
how you you've got how you're doing it on the fly versus how you're doing it there and then in front. So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from there. It does make really good sense.
Yeah, and the hardest thing is, like, somebody's watching a video, and you could be explaining things as that's happening and all that, but it doesn't really translate quite the same as you doing the same exact thing in a live environment, because it's more fluid, and it's even if it's the same thing, it's going to be different when it's live versus when it's already pre-recorded. But the hardest things to answer for people is, how do I aim? What should I do for this and that? And it's there are things that people just have to learn by experiencing them themselves. And I find, like, questions like that next to impossible to be able to help people with, which is unfortunate, because like, I take a lot of the skills I have inherently based off of my past gaming experience for granted, thinking of in a 3D environment and all that stuff. And a lot of people don't have that experience, and I'm like, ah, crap, that's right. I've been doing this since Doom, and since Quake first came online and all that stuff. It's second nature to me, and I can't explain something that's second nature to me. And it's not an elitism thing. It's just I grew up with this type of nonsense.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% the way. So, way back in the history, what was the quote? And what your school yearbook, and there's a picture of a little business there, little Aaron Packer smiling and posing. What would the quote be that was written underneath that picture? What was your quote that you had to write underneath that, or what would you have now?
Oh man, that's the funny thing is, there wouldn't be one, because I was really, really quiet in high school. Nobody, I talked to a lot of people, but I didn't really have a lot of friends in that sense. Like, everybody knew of me, but it wasn't really one of those things of, God, I don't know how to do it. I really never really know how to answer a question like that, because it's like, most likely to end up on the FBI's most wanted list, or straight up disappear and end up in a shack in Montana or something like that, writing, these manifestos and whatnot. No, either way, that's not the case. I'm just saying, no, it's I don't know. I guess end up in a log cabin in the woods. Who's most likely to do that? That would be my title.
The interesting thing for me, is going through this with everyone, with yourselves, and with all the other people I've done these interviews with so far. We've all kind of got that in common. Really strangely, it's like,
I'm not surprised.
It's we all seem to have been at school. We were kind of the the choir just slid through. We weren't like, hey, look at me, I'm the big jock, and or I'm the class clown. Or we all seem to have been just literally. I think it was either Lord Zath or it was Sir Venom who said it. Kane wasn't noticed, slid away, and he's like, everyone seems to be in the same kind of boat of that. Yeah, just.
I think, like, for me and a lot of other people, it's more that I just wanted to get out of there already, and I didn't want to really forge any relationships there. I just wanted to get out of high school and be done with it and move on, because that's what I was looking forward to. I can only speak for myself, but for introverts and stuff like that, just want to be kind of left alone, and I don't know, let us do our own thing. That's all.
Exactly, yeah. So, what's Business's favourite band or song? What's your go-to music that it's like, you know what? I need to chill out. I need to relax.
Synthwave. Synthwave is my current kick. So, I'm a big fan of there's a number of different artists. Probably my favorite is from Greece. His name's Motor, Moter. Okay. And there's a particular track called Last Train to Synthville. They all have like funny names and all this stuff. There's some great ones, but that one just gives me goosebumps every time I listen to it. It's something else. But otherwise, a lot of alternative grunge music from the 90s, STP. I wasn't really into Pearl Jam or Nirvana, that sort of thing, but there were a ton of bands like Helmet and small bands that lasted like maybe one album. There was some really good stuff back then, but otherwise for modern bands, a UK band named Stateless, or like I'm getting into Tame Impala. Like, they've got some awesome stuff too. So kind of all over the place, but otherwise piano concertos. I'm always a sucker for those.
Wow. So that's really varied. That's pretty awesome though. It's nice. That's pretty cool though. I'll have to have a look at some of that synthwave stuff, because I'm quite into some of the the electro what do you call it? Electro swing style. A lot of it's copyright free and stuff like that, which is really cool. Obviously, it works even better for us when we stream and stuff like that. But I'm quite into some of that.
Especially in the EU, right? My God.
Oh God, yeah. Well, let's move on from that minefield.
Yeah.
So, question 7 already. What is your worst dad joke that's usable? Dad jokes are normally those that make you go, "Oh no," and cringe, but they have fun in life.
They're all cringe. So, like, I'm more of an improvisational / derivative type of humor dude, but every now and then, there are these just stupid jokes that I like, and I like science jokes. But what do you do with the dead chemist? Bury him. It's just so terrible, though.
Oh no, God.
Yeah, there's a street near us that's Barium Drive or something like that, and like, they've got like Diamond Way and so on and so forth. There's all these like mineral or like chemistry related things or geological things for these street names. So whenever we drive by it, that's always the friggin' joke that comes up, and it's awful.
Bad, but it suits the area and goes with the territory, literally. So where can people find your content now? Obviously, twitch.tv/business6. YouTube?
Yep. YouTube.com/business6. On Twitter, it's gaming with biz6. Yep. And I've got a Discord as well, like everybody else nowadays. But it's pretty straightforward.
Well, I'll get the links off you, and they'll be in the description below for everybody. Thank you for taking this time out to go through this with us. I really do appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you doing this. It's a good way to... I mean, we've got so many people from so many different areas in the world. I think it's a good thing to let people speak on their own behalf, type of thing. But I appreciate it, and good luck with the further interviews, because you've got a long ways to go, man. I've
got a few to get through, haven't I? But we'll get there. Yeah, we've got plenty of time. But anyway, thank you, Business, for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Again, as always, Business6 Links will be in the chat in the description. Please go and give him a follow and check out his content. If you ever want to see somebody suffer, please request him to play the Minotaur. He absolutely loves it.
Oh no, not anymore. Oh, poor shit. That poor shit.
Indeed. I was there watching that when you were playing it. It was interesting to say the best, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's a word for it.
It's a word. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we will see you on the next one. It's bye from me.
And goodbye. Wash your hands and keep your social distance from me.
That makes sense. Thanks, guys.